I can still feel the chills that ran down my spine as I recount the horrifying events that unfolded during my time at Crestwood High. It was a place where teenage hopes and fears collided. But little did we know that something far more sinister lurked in the shadows of those echoing hallways. It all began innocently enough. I was a sophomore at Crestwood High, struggling to fit in and navigate the complexities of teenage social hierarchies. The school was an imposing structure, with its towering red brick walls and long, dimly lit hallways that seemed to stretch on forever. It was during my first month there that I heard the first whispers. The whispers started as faint, barely audible voices that seemed to echo through the halls when no one was around. At first, I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, a result of the countless ghost stories we shared during lunch breaks. But soon, the whispers grew louder, more distinct, and impossible to ignore. I remember the first time I heard a clear sentence. I was alone in the library, engrossed in my studies, when a cold breeze brushed against my ear, carrying a chilling message. "They watch you," the voice whispered, causing me to drop my book and look around, heart racing. But the library was deserted, and there was no one in sight. As the days went by, the whispers became more frequent, and I wasn't the only one who heard them. Rumors spread like wildfire, and soon the entire student body was abuzz with fear and curiosity. Some claimed to have heard ominous warnings, while others spoke of menacing laughter that seemed to follow them down the halls. One evening, a group of us decided to investigate. Armed with flashlights and shaky determination, we ventured into the school after hours, determined to uncover the source of the unsettling whispers. As we tiptoed down the dim corridors, the air grew heavier, and a suffocating feeling of dread enveloped us. In the distance, we heard faint laughter, childlike yet eerily distorted. It seemed to come from the abandoned wing of the school, a part of the building that had been closed off for years due to structural concerns. Against our better judgment, we followed the sound, drawn by an irresistible force we couldn't explain. The abandoned wing was a labyrinth of decaying classrooms and forgotten memories. As we ventured deeper, the whispers grew louder, their voices overlapping in a cacophony of despair. "Leave. Before. Too late." The voices seemed to moan, sending shivers down our spines. Then, in the flickering light of our flashlights, we saw them, shadows dancing along the walls, indistinct and menacing. Panic set in as we realized that the shadows were moving independently, defying any logic or explanation. We turned to flee, but the exit seemed to have vanished, replaced by an endless hallway of darkness. Time lost all meaning as we stumbled through the nightmarish maze, the whispers growing louder with every step. Faces materialized in the shadows, distorted, contorted, and twisted in agony. I could feel their pain, their anguish, as if their tormented souls were reaching out to us. Just as despair threatened to consume us, a distant glimmer of light appeared. We ran toward it, desperate to escape the suffocating darkness that threatened to swallow us whole. The whispers grew frenzied, an unintelligible chorus of anguish that echoed in our minds. Finally, we burst through a door, stumbling into the moonlit courtyard of Crestwood High. The oppressive weight lifted, and the whispers faded into nothingness. We collapsed to the ground, gasping for air, grateful to have escaped the clutches of that malevolent force. The next day, we returned to school, the events of that night etched into our minds like a scar. The whispers had ceased, the shadows had vanished, and the abandoned wing had returned to its silent slumber. But the memory of that night lingered, a constant reminder that there are things beyond our understanding, lurking in the darkness. Crestwood High remained a place of learning, but it had also become a place of secrets, where whispers in the halls told of a darkness that could not be forgotten. And though we went on with our lives, forever changed by that harrowing experience, we knew that some mysteries are best left untouched, for fear of awakening something that should remain hidden. Entering the final year of high school should have been a time of excitement and anticipation, but for me and my friends, it marked the beginning of a nightmare we could never have imagined. Our school, Northridge High, had an old wing that was rarely used, except for a few classrooms. Room 213 was among them. It had a sinister reputation, the kind of place where tales of mysterious disappearances and unexplainable occurrences were whispered. Most students avoided it like the plague, and those who did have classes there often spoke of eerie sensations and the feeling of being watched. One gloomy afternoon, curiosity got the better of us. Sarah, Mark, and I decided to investigate the truth behind the rumors. Armed with a borrowed key and our bravado, we stood before the door of room 213. The moment the key turned and the door creaked open, a shiver ran down my spine. The room's atmosphere was heavy with an otherworldly presence. Dust danced in the dim light filtering through the windows, and an old grand piano stood against one wall, its keys covered in a layer of neglect. As we explored, the temperature seemed to drop, and a faint melody drifted through the air. "What's that sound?" Mark asked, his voice trembling. We followed the sound to the piano. No one was playing it, yet the keys moved on their own, producing a haunting melody that sent chills down our spines. The room seemed to come alive with a spectral energy as the melody grew louder, filling the air with an eerie lament. In a trance, we approached the piano, drawn to it as if by an invisible force. I placed my fingers on the keys, and they responded, playing the mournful tune with a ghostly touch. The melody spoke of longing, of pain, and of something trapped between the realms of the living and the dead. As we played, the room seemed to shift. Shadows danced along the walls, and whispers echoed through the air, intertwining with the music. The room pulsed with an energy that was both terrifying and strangely alluring. It was as if the room itself was a gateway to another world. Suddenly, the whispers grew louder, drowning out the melody. The walls seemed to close in, and the air grew heavy with a suffocating presence. We tried to flee, but the door slammed shut, trapping us inside. Panic set in as the room transformed into a nightmarish labyrinth, its walls shifting and distorting. In a desperate bid to escape, we played the piano with frantic intensity, hoping to break whatever hold the room had on us. The melody became discordant, a cacophony of fear and desperation. And then, as suddenly as it had begun, the room fell silent. The walls stopped moving, and the door swung open. We stumbled out of room 213, shaken and disoriented. The grand piano had fallen silent, its keys still beneath our trembling hands. As we left the old wing, we glanced back at the room, a feeling of unease lingering in our minds. Over the next few weeks, our lives began to unravel. Nightmares plagued our sleep, the haunting melody echoing in our minds. Shadows seemed to follow us wherever we went, and whispers whispered of promises unfulfilled and regrets that would haunt us forever. In a desperate attempt to break free from the nightmare, we returned to room 213 one last time. This time the room was empty, the grand piano covered in a layer of dust. We played the melody once more, hoping to find closure, but the room remained unchanged. As we left, a sense of finality settled over us. The haunting melody and the darkness of room 213 had become a part of us, a reminder that some mysteries are best left untouched. And while we escaped the physical confines of that room, its memory would forever remain a ghostly presence in our minds. The legend of Riverdale High's cursed mirror was something every student knew. The ornate antique mirror stood in the corner of the girls' bathroom, its gilt frame hiding a dark secret. The mirror was said to show more than just reflections. It revealed glimpses of the future, but at a horrifying cost. It was my junior year when I first heard about the mirror's curse. The whispers spread like wildfire, and soon, everyone was daring each other to look into its depths. My friends and I dismissed the tales as mere superstition, but the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist. One fateful afternoon, after hours, we gathered in front of the bathroom mirror. Hearts pounding, we chanted the words we had heard in the hushed whispers. "Show us what's to come. Reveal the future undone." As the words left our lips, a chilling breeze swept through the bathroom, extinguishing the flickering candles we had brought with us. The mirror's surface shimmered, and for a brief moment I saw my reflection. But it wasn't just me. There were others there. Strangers with expressions of terror etched upon their faces. Then the vision shifted, and the mirror showed scenes of chaos and destruction. Familiar landmarks crumbled, skies darkened with smoke, and a sense of impending doom hung heavy in the air. The images were fragmented, disjointed, like pieces of a nightmare. In a panic, we stumbled backward, breaking the circle we had formed. The bathroom door slammed shut on its own, trapping us inside. The air grew cold, and a haunting whisper filled the room, repeating a single phrase. "The curse cannot be undone." Desperation overcame us as we fought to escape the bathroom, but the door remained stubbornly shut. Then, with a deafening crash, the mirror shattered, sending shards of glass flying in all directions. The room fell silent, and the door swung open, releasing us from its grasp. As we left the bathroom, the sense of foreboding lingered, a weight that settled in our chests. Over the next few days, the vision from the mirror haunted my dreams. The apocalyptic scenes etched into my mind. I tried to dismiss it as mere coincidence, but deep down, I knew that we had awoken something dark and sinister. Slowly, the events from the vision began to unfold. News reports spoke of natural disasters, of cities being reduced to ruins. The world seemed to be descending into chaos, just as the mirror had foretold. Panic spread like wildfire, and society teetered on the brink of collapse. In the midst of the turmoil, my friends and I realized that we held the key to stopping the curse. We returned to the shattered mirror, determined to reverse the terrible fate we had set in motion. With what little remained of the mirror, we conducted a ritual, hoping to break the curse's hold. As we chanted the words and poured our collective will into the fragments, a blinding light engulfed us. The world around us seemed to tremble, and the echoes of our voices melded into a single powerful force. When the light faded, the mirror was restored, its surface pristine. But the world outside was different. The disasters had stopped, the skies had cleared, and a sense of relief washed over us. We had succeeded in altering the course of destiny, but the experience had left us changed forever. The mirror's curse had shown us the power of our choices.